Planning 2 weeks in Australia, here's how to fit in all the best bits along the East Coast. Hi guys, Chris from Stoke for Travel here, welcome back to the channel. Now before I get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any video goodness. Now today we're going to be talking about one of my favourite countries in the world to travel, Australia, and more importantly 2 weeks in Australia. We're going to be talking about all the best bits of the east coast of Australia between Sydney and Cairns, how to fit them in a 2-week itinerary. So whether you're looking to go surfing in Byron Bay, want to sail around the Whitsundays, hit up Fraser Island, of course scuba dive on the Great Barrier Reef, here's how to plan your perfect 2 weeks in Australia. Okay guys, so we're going to kick off your 2 weeks in Australia in Sydney, where there are heaps of things to see and do. Whether you want to do the coastal walk between Bondi and Coogee, chill on the beach at Bondi Beach, check out the Sydney Harbour, and of course the Sydney Opera House as well. There's so much to see and do in Sydney. Now depending on how you want to travel further up the coast and of course your budget, you can either do 1 or 2 nights here. If you are going to do the Greyhound bus up the coast, which is the more backpacker budget way of doing it, 1 night in Sydney is all we're going to be able to fit into this quick itinerary. But if you do decide to get an internal flight from Sydney up to Ballina for your next stop, Byron Bay, you can do 2 nights in Sydney. So yeah, kicking things off, 2 weeks in Australia, starting in Sydney. Next up is my personal favourite stop on the whole of the east coast of Australia and will no doubt be the highlight of your 2 weeks in Australia, and that's Byron Bay. This town has heaps of things to see and do, so you've got dolphin kayaking, whale watching, scuba diving at Julian Rocks, skydiving, day trip to Nimbin, or my personal favourite, which is learn to surf. It's one of the best spots to surf in Australia and you should definitely tick that off your bucket list. In terms of eating and drinking, Byron is full of amazing spots to dine out, so make sure you treat yourself. Spots like the Farm for breakfast or a nice evening meal, the Loft for cocktails, or the Beach Hotel for their Sunday sessions is a great option as well. So yeah, 2 nights in Byron Bay and they're no doubt going to be a highlight of your Australia trip. Okay, so the third stop on your 2 weeks in Australia is going to be Rainbow Beach and Fraser Island. So Rainbow Beach we're going to do 1 night before and after your Fraser Island tour. And then Fraser Island itself you're going to get 2 nights on as well. So 4 nights of your trip in total. Now Fraser Island is the largest sand island in the world and it's great for an overnight tour. It's one of the 2 best tours along the east coast, the other one being the Whitsundays. But the overnight camping option is incredible. You get to drive a 4x4 around, you get to go through the rainforest, up the beach highways, and there's heaps of things to check out along the way, including the Maheno shipwreck, Indian Head lookout, and the Champagne pools. So yeah, Fraser Island is going to be one of the best stops along the east coast as well, and you want 1 night before and 1 night after in Rainbow Beach as well. So the next stop with your 2 weeks in Australia is going to be Airlie Beach. Now how you travel to Airlie Beach from Rainbow Beach is going to also determine kind of how much time you're going to get on the ground as well. If you are taking the Greyhound, so the backpacker bus, and on a bit more budget friendly option, you're going to do the overnight bus from Rainbow Beach all the way up to Airlie Beach. It takes about 18 hours in total, so it's a big stint, but it is the most budget friendly way to do it. If you've got a bit more budget to spend or you want to spend more time on the ground actually enjoying Australia, from Rainbow Beach you can double that down to Brisbane and take an internal flight up to Proserpine Airport, which is the gateway to Airlie Beach and the Whitsundays. Once you get to Airlie Beach, you're going to be doing 2 nights here, well 4 nights in total, because the 2 nights in the middle we're going to go out to the Whitsunday Islands. Airlie Beach itself, great party town, good party vibes there because of the boat trips going out to the Whitsundays. And the Whitsundays themselves is home to the famous Whitehaven Beach, which is some of the most purest sand in the entire world. You can do an awesome sailing tour here around all the beautiful islands. You can do a scenic flight and heaps of snorkeling on the reef as well. So the Whitsundays is going to be another major highlight of your 2 weeks in Australia. After you come back from your trip there, you've got another night in Airlie Beach before we head up the coast again. And we're going to finish off your 2 weeks in Australia with 2 nights in Cairns. Now your route up to Cairns is going to again depend on your budget. If you've got a bit more cash to splash or you want to spend less time on buses, you can do the internal flight from Proserpine Airport or Hamilton Island Airport up to Cairns. Otherwise, overnight Greyhound or Premier bus from Airlie Beach all the way up to Cairns is going to be the way to go. In terms of things to see and do in Cairns, the main event here is the fact it's the gateway to the Great Barrier Reef, so make sure you do a day trip out to the reef. Whether you're scuba diving, intro diving, or certified diver, is a great day trip out. Great for all ages as well. Now some other things to see and do in Cairns, depending on how you want to fill your extra time there. You can do a day trip up to Cape Tribulation, which is where the reef meets the rainforest, stunning part of Australia. Or you can head out into the Atherton Tablelands as well. Some amazing waterfalls, including the spot where Peter Andre did his Mysterious Girl video. So you can do your hair flick and get your Instagram shot there. If you do want to go a little bit more adrenaline fueled, you can do a skydiving Cairns, or you can do a day trip back down to Mission Beach and do the skydive there and land on the beach as well. But yeah, rounding up your 2 weeks in Australia with 2 nights in Cairns. Okay guys, so if you are doing 2 weeks in Australia, as you can see, it's going to be pretty fast paced and you're going to be bouncing from stop to stop to make sure you fit everything in. And now to slow things down and have more fun in Australia, I do have 3 alternative options that you can tweak your itinerary to make the most of Australia. And it really depends on kind of your style, your budget, and your travel preference. Alternative option number 1 is simply spend more time in Australia. Ideally, 3 weeks is the absolute minimum I recommend for the East Coast. It just slows things down, allows you to add in extra stops, say like Yamba, Noosa, Magnetic Island, and just have a bit more appreciation of the East Coast. Obviously, 4 weeks, even better, and you could go for all out and do a 12-month working holiday visa in Australia, which gives you a whole year to play with. So that's alternative number 1. Alternative number 2 is to do with Fraser Island and the Whitsundays. In my 2 weeks in Australia itinerary, I did the 2-night overnight options for both. So that's 4 nights total. You can also swap those out for day trips as well, which obviously gives you a bit of extra time to play with. So you can kind of pace out your trip or extend some stops as well. Now you can either do that with both and free up some extra nights, or you can do one or the other. Personally, if you're going to choose the overnight option for one and a day trip for the other, I would do the overnight option for Fraser Island and the day trip to the Whitsundays. The reason being, the day trips to Fraser Island are a bit rushed and you really don't get as much of an experience of the island, and you also don't get to drive the 4x4s, which is a massive kind of bucket list tip for a lot of people. Whitsundays, on the other hand, you do tick off all the main bits on the day trip. That's Whitehaven Beach and snorkeling, and obviously those beautiful, stunning islands as well. So yeah, that's the other option. The third and final option is something I've already kind of touched upon during my roundup of my 2 weeks in Australia, and that's the internal flights. This will save you 3 nights along the route, and obviously that can make a big difference to the pace of your trip. And that's from Sydney to Ballina or Gold Coast for your stop in Byron Bay, from Brisbane up to Proserpine for your trip from kind of Rainbow Beach up to Airlie Beach, and then from Proserpine Airport or Hamilton Island up to Cairns for that final leg between Airlie Beach and Cairns. So that'll give you an extra 3 nights to play with as well. Obviously, you can take kind of parts of these alternatives and mix them around and kind of create your own itinerary, or shorten it all down and add in some extra stops as well. That's 3 alternatives I'd choose for your East Coast itinerary. And if you are heading to Australia soon, make sure you check out the crew of RTW Backpackers. They have heaps of tours, trips, activities, and travel passes all along the East Coast, including this exact 2-week itinerary as a package deal. So you can get that easily booked in. If you do have any other questions about traveling Australia or want some advice on the best tours, make sure you check them out. And there you have it, guys. That's how to fit in all the best bits of the East Coast in 2 weeks in Australia. Now, if you have any other questions about traveling around Australia, make sure you check out the links in the description below to all my written guides. Of course, check out the rest of my YouTube channel for heaps of advice as well. And if you do have any other questions about traveling around Australia, make sure you add them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. That's it for this week, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next week.